sure, because I just got to the computer. So.
Oh, okay. Yep, I'm in. We're up on the screen and everything.
All right.
Okay,
Cool.
hey.
I will back out then.
All right. Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
This is Dylan.
Oh, okay. Dylan's in. Okay. Oh, that's who was calling in, not Marcellus. I forgot. Yes. Do you need to keep that next to you in case he has questions, or?
Well, I got it up here so it can be picked up.
Okay.
You stand, please, we'll say the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Marcellus, you're up.
So I haven't met many of you yet, but my name is Marcellus Johnson. I'm the planning administrator for the town of Thorntown. And I'm here to present the staff report on a petition received requesting to vacate a public way, an alley at 522 Bow Street. I believe the petitioner Dylan Vo is on the phone calling in, and I think there's some residents maybe of the trailer park here at this location who are here today. But to kind of get started, essentially, the purpose of this public hearing is to present staff's findings on whether or not this alley serves an important function for the town that would require that it not be vacated. And of course, to give the public the opportunity to comment on the proposed vacation. There are five criteria on which, 5 questions on which the determination of whether or not to vacate this alley is required to be made based on. Those would be that vacating the alley would not hinder the growth or orderly development of the unit or neighborhood in which the alley is contiguous. Vacating the alley would not deny easy or convenient access to a person's property. Vacating the alley would not hinder the public's access to a church, school, or other public building or place. Granting the petition would not hinder the use of a public way by the neighborhood in which it is located or to which it is contiguous. Vacating the alley would not cause any person's property to become quote-unquote landlocked, denying them access to a public right-of-way or convenient means of egress or ingress. And then an additional requirement that is not explicitly stated by law, but certainly is important here, is that we want to make sure that the public way doesn't contain any public utilities that would then end up under private property. And so the petition application packet contained or required the applicant to submit basically evidence that there are no public utilities on the property that are going to be affected by this, a map showing the location of the alley in relation to their property, and a proposal for what happens to that vacated alley vis-a-vis the surrounding properties, what properties sort of absorb it. And that's documented there in the staff report. You can see that the alley basically splits a parcel in two. And so the proposed change would be when the alley is vacated, that space taken up by the alley would then be absorbed into that one parcel, making it a single parcel instead of being split. For staff's analysis, as far as connectivity goes, this alleyway connects Bow Street with a so far abandoned public right-of-way to the north of the property. This right-of-way has never been developed. There's no street here. So there's no connectivity issue. The alley is not actively connecting to anything there. As far as access goes, the alley provides no access to any particular parcel. It does split that parcel, as I said, but that alley is not paved currently. And so people are not using that alley to access this property or any other properties. And then as far as utilities go, staff was only provided with a map showing the sewer and the electrical lines in the area. And you can see on the map there, figure 2 in the staff report, that the sewer line and electrical line do cross the alley, but these are both private lines. These are the lines servicing the trailers on the property, not public, trunk lines or anything like that. And so there is no, excuse me. There was an 811 locate request made on the property to identify additional utilities. And this report does indicate that there were cable, gas, water, sewer, electrical, and telephone located on the property. However, those other utilities besides the sewer and the electrical that are shown here in the staff report were not mapped. So perhaps the petitioner Dylan can speak more to maybe where those are located. But as far as I know, there is no indication that there are public utilities located in this right-of-way that would be affected by vacating it. And so, given those 6 criteria that I identified earlier, staff proposes the following findings: that granting this petition would not hinder the growth or orderly development of the unit or neighborhood in which the alley is contiguous. Granting the petition would not deny easy or convenient access to any person's property. Granting the petition would not hinder the public's access to a church, school, or other public building or place. Granting the petition would not hinder the use of a public way by the neighborhood in which it is located or to which it is contiguous. Granting the petition would not cause any person's property to become landlocked. And granting the petition would not interfere with access to public utilities under or above this public way. And given these findings, the staff recommendation is for approval of the petition.
So the map of this was actually shown to the town council a couple of meetings ago.
Yeah, we got it.
So if anyone has any questions about the report, I'm happy to answer them.
You guys got any questions? We need to make a motion to
I think you have to open to public comment.
You have to open the floor for comment. See if anybody has any comments out here. And then, okay, so did you actually open the public hearing?
No.
Okay, we should have. So then we'll close the public hearing. Then you can do your voting.
Does anybody in the audience have any comments about what was just said by Marcellus? No comments? I make a motion then that we close the public hearing. There, second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Public hearing closed.
Thanks, Marcel.
Thank you. And we need to make a motion then to close the alley. What do we need to do now?
If that's what you want to do, yes.
Do I hear a motion to close the alley?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I hear a second? Guess we're not been discussing. Yeah, Barry made a motion, so we need a second to close the alley.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now it's closed.
Marcellus,
Yes.
is there more that we need to do with filing that, or you'll file it?
So Amy is going to write up an ordinance, and then at the next town council meeting, they'll have to pass the ordinance.
Okay.
To officially make that.
And you'll communicate with her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, water plant upgrade contract, Nathan.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, members of the council. Good to see you again. My name is Nathan Delisle. For those who I haven't maybe met one-on-one, Dan Cutshaw apologizes. He was unable to attend tonight's meeting to give you the update here on the water project. With that, we're at the point in the project where we need to begin design of the water treatment plant improvements themselves and get that process underway to prepare for contractors to move in and begin construction. So before you and in your board packets, we had sent Amy a engineering contract for those services. To the best of my knowledge, Corinne, you could probably speak more to this. We have received no comments back from Amy.
Right.
To this point in time. One thing you will notice is the name of the engineering firm has changed. So to give you an update, Dan Cutshaw is no longer with MS Consultants. I'm also no longer with MS Consultants. And every engineer from the water group of MS Consultants in Indiana has left, and they have joined Dan Cutshaw as he has formed his own engineering firm, just so you're aware. That's where the CDS engineers comes from. So everybody that you've dealt with for the past few years on the water, sewer, storm side is no longer at MS Consultants. They've all come with us and are at CDS engineers. That should hopefully explain the name change that you saw in the contract documents. Are there any questions on that?
No.
So, moving forward, the timeline remains intact for the design, the bidding, and the construction of this water treatment plant expansion and the drilling of a new water well. I would ask that the board consider engaging us in an engineering contract to perform these services as we continue down this road.
So our old contract was void, right?
Is there an existing contract?
What
There
was
is
that?
not an existing contract for the water treatment plant project, no.
Right, but is there an existing consulting contract at this time?
There is an
We-
existing retainer contract at this time with MS Consultants, yes.
Okay, I don't know if we need to release that on the water side.
We don't have one for the water side with MS, correct.
Okay.
There is Marcellus' services that are on that retainer as well. But the other task orders that MS Consultants was under contract for have been satisfied and
Yeah.
terminated.
We have the planning and zoning. Two different
With MS.
contract with MS. That is recommended we keep.
Sorry, we had not been introduced.
I'm Jeff Wolf. I'm
Oh.
working with Ken.
So that's where we stand at this moment. If there's any other questions that the council has, I would entertain those questions.
What's
What's the difference between these two? I mean,
what's their new name?
CD.
Oh, we are simply talking about
Engineers.
that one with the CDS logo on the front.
Yes,
Okay.
engineers.
The other contractual document that's in there is a retainer contract with CDS. If you would like to engage us in perhaps sanitary sewer services and have that on-call agreement that we had as we were prior employees of MS, that is what that document is for. Of course, we would love to continue to provide those sanitary services and other engineering services at your discretion. To pivot away from the water project and towards that retainer contract. If you should decide to engage us in a retainer, there's no fee up front. It just provides the basis for you to call us up and have us do anything you want us to do
So
at a moment's notice.
So this one in particular is specifically for the water project.
Correct.
This is just for general.
General engineering services, since there's no more engineers in MS in Indiana at this time.
So we need to make a motion to retain CDS engineering for both of those.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Yeah, and you said that Amy has looked this over.
Amy has reviewed them, correct.
Okay.
And unless you have heard comments.
No, my recommendation would be is if you want to do an approval, to go ahead and do that subject to final review by Amy. I don't think there's any issues with that.
That's fair.
Day or two before it's signed.
And, okay. I'll make a motion to accept the agreement between Town of Thorntown and CDS Engineers for the water project. With
Pending attorney review.
pending attorney review.
Any discussion from you guys? Okay, go ahead, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
So, okay, no opposed, so you didn't ask
No
for opposed,
opposed.
I just want to make sure.
So everybody agreed to start with this. Okay, we're good to go.
Anything on the retainer, or do you want to consider that later?
Well, because did you,
Well, I just did the water agreement.
Let's see.
I think we'll do the retainer also.
I'll make a motion to accept this master service agreement between the Town of Thorntown and CDS Engineers for engineering services pending legal review.
Any discussion, second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes also.
Okay,
Thank
then we need to do the vote to allow you to sign both of these documents. Because it only has a place for the president to sign. I'm trying to find where our signature page is. There's just one page to sign, correct, on this, the biggest, or the water contract?
That's the way we structured it. If you
Yes.
would like for us to amend that signature page to include a signature for each member of the council, we can absolutely do that and bring it back to you. It's up to your discretion.
I mean, it's Yeah, we're waiting on Amy's approval anyway, so if you bring it back, then we could all sign it, or
That's fine. Yeah,
Good.
I can make that change. Not a problem.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay, now what about the master service agreement? Do you,
that's what we just did.
okay, I know.
Oh.
But do you want them to redo a different page where each one of you sign? Or do you want to?
Is that,
It's not a
vote for
problem.
To sign?
yeah,
Not a
we'll
problem.
do the same with that.
We can bring that back.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right.
That's it. Thank you,
Thank
Nikki. Appreciate it. Jenna Allen, attorney of the lead.
So I'm Gina Allen. I'm with the Festival of Turning Leaves. I came in tonight to get permission to close 47 from South Pearl Street to 75 for the festival, September 27th through 28th. Also to close a section of Pearl Street by Stickies at midnight on September the 27th with the car show. That is Sunday morning. I'm also asking permission to hang the banner across 47 starting August 29th. And I do have the holds harmless form, which I need 2 signatures for state permits.
It's the state permit for the banner. Is that what it's for?
You have to start the permits to close 47.
Because you have to have their approval for the banner as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to allow the Turning Police Festival Committee to make their closures that they're requesting
And hang the banner.
and hang the banner, yes.
Okay, go ahead and get my 2 signatures.
Do I hear it?
Second.
I hear a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Good. Now we'll see. There you go.
Thank you very much.
And Steve Steelsmith, I get to talk to you again.
Hello, I'm Steve Steelsmith, and I'm a fairly recent resident to the town of Thorntown. My wife and I bought a home at 1209 Wesley Court in Salem's Landing. We're on propane because our subdivision is not serviced by CenterPoint Energy. Neither is Westwood, so Salem's Landing and Westwood subdivisions have no natural gas service. An employee from CenterPoint informed me that there is a gas main sitting in front of Woody's halfway between 47 and Salem's Landing. Also, there is another gas main sitting to the southeast of the cemetery. So this is a petition from all of the residents, homeowners in Salem's Landing, the 4 properties on the north side of both subdivisions don't fall into either subdivisions. I went to the courthouse and got plats of the subdivisions. And then, so I have signatures from, except for 2 properties and all of Westwood as well, requesting for CenterPoint to bring service into our 2 subdivisions. I know this doesn't require anything from you from our standpoint. I'm just trying to get as much impetus behind our petition to CenterPoint for them to grant us service in our neighborhoods. I mean, Westfall Place is going to have CenterPoint Energy. The houses on 47 to the north of us have CenterPoint Energy. The town of Thorntown to the east of us has CenterPoint Energy, it's all around us,
Right.
and we don't have it. And the majority of minus 2 properties, everybody wants natural gas to be brought into our neighborhoods. So the utility board this morning was gracious enough to, they're going to provide us with a letter of recommendation. And so I was seeking a letter of recommendation from the town board to accompany both the utility board's recommendation and our petition to accompany to CenterPoint Energy. Thank you.
There is one problem, Steve. Me and Bruce both work for propane company.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot to warn you.
Oh, no. Well, Max told me to relay to them not to hit any water lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to make a motion. Provide a letter.
Yeah, I mean, we can make a motion to do that. What we're looking for, a letter of.
Letter.
In support of their petition.
Letter of recommendation. Letter of support. Okay. I'll make a motion for the town council to provide a letter of recommendation for their petition to get gas at Salem's Landing.
Mayor, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will get you a letter. Okay, public comments and concerns. We got anybody out there that wants to talk? Nobody? Okay, we will go down department reports. APC.
Well, we kind of already have done ours, but the Marcellus updated us on the codes that are being rewritten and put together. And before the end of the year, we will have those to review and edit if we need to, and have Amy go over them. So hopefully by 2026 January, we can have those in print and available on the
Okay. Nathan, have you got anybody besides yourself that's been out to the new edition? That's it.
This gentleman right next to me is Rick Miller.
Would you like to do some speaking about what's going on?
Yeah. Older than you for that. If I stood at the front, you stand in front. Yeah, my name's Rick Miller. I'm with CDS Engineers, along with Nathan. I've been out part-time inspection, multiple different days out at the Westfield subdivision. We have completed all of the gravity sanitary sewer testing on the gravity mains. We've done low pressure air test, manhole vacuum test, and mandrel testing. All have passed. I have the test results. As far as the water, I've been out to witness several different days of the water mains going in. I was out there when Valeni Held, who's the contractor, tied in at Oak Street and on State Road 47. Those are tied in with no problems, according to Justin out there, unless Earl knows something that I don't know. I think it all went smooth. The only thing I've got left to check on that is the testing of the water mains. When they get all of the services in to the individual house lots, we will come in and do a test of the mains. We'll pump them up to like 150 PSI and let them hold for 2 hours, see if they leak. So we're just waiting on that installation to continue. And then as the lift station gets completed with the new pumps and the force main tie over and everything, I'll be out here to check all that and do the startup on that and make sure that that works. We're just not to that point on those two items yet. But so far, everything has passed all of its tests and haven't had any issues.
Has there been any indication of putting in the natural gas line, the gas company?
The last time I was out there, the only thing that was on site was the gravity sewer and the water main. No other utilities have been installed on site, to my knowledge, as of probably last Thursday. So
We're pretty sure they're gonna put something out there, right?
the last I knew, they are to drag electric into the ground, the underground electric,
Right.
gas, and all the comms, all your telephone fiber out there.
Okay.
They are building the first house, which would be the on lot 1 up there along 47. That'll be the model home. I think they poured the slab already. I think it got poured last Tuesday or Wednesday. So yeah, it's coming along. They should be stacking sticks on top of it now, studs. I haven't been out there for a couple days to look at that lot. So
Their lumber's sitting up there, so.
yeah, I figured the rain probably slowed them down a day or two. Yeah. Anybody got any questions on the testing or anything out there? Okay.
Could I get your phone number and email?
Sure. That work?
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, thank you.
Park board.
Oh, sorry, no updates.
That was quick. Steve, fire department.
How are we doing this evening?
Good.
I'm gonna give you a little update since our activities since the last visit with you. Let me grab it. Here's the
Yep, sure can. Thank you.
part of our runs made out of the Thorntown Sugar Creek Fire Department as of through June of this year. We're currently at 273 runs for the year. Of those, 95 have been made within the town limits. 39 are included in Sugar Creek Township. 106 runs to Washington Township, and then about 33 runs to other, which would be like mutual aid, like Advance, Darlington, Colfax, Lebanon, Center Township. That they see actually about like 169 runs are medical runs, 43 automobile accidents, and like 61 fire runs. Some other news since I last spoke with you, just this past week, we added 6 new firemen, seven new firemen to the roster down at the department. So that brings our total to, we should have 30 guys. So we got 15 guys between town and township. So I have a full roster at this point.
How many's Thorntown?
Pardon me?
How many's Thorntown?
It's split 15. Yeah. Though I kind of cover both. So some things I know. Last time I talked to you, it was to work on a I guess kind of a proposal for future plans for the department, where we think as far as our short, immediate, long-term goals and all that for the department. We haven't actually sit down and put that in writing yet, but some things to kind of think about there is our current fire engine for the town is a 2010 engine, and those are normally replaced on a 20-year cycle. So they put it at 2030 for replacement for that engine. And the reason for the keeping those on the 20-year cycle is for our ISO rating. As the truck ages, and our increases our rating there, which turns around increases everybody's homeowners insurance and things like that. So currently,
You said it was a 2010.
the current truck is a 2010, right?
Replacing.
Yeah.
Replace
So
by
it'd be
2030.
2030 would be the upcoming time for the replacement of the truck.
ISO.
Kind of you ready for an estimate?
ISO rating.
Pardon me?
ISO rating, is that what you said?
Yeah, the ISO rating is where we keep it on the 20-year cycle.
Okay,
Kind of a rough estimate right now for new apparatuses in the $600,000 to $800,000 range. Something else coming up in the near future, our current fire gear we use is on a 10-year replacement cycle, so that is coming up in 2028, and that's roughly about right now about $4,000 per fireman to replace that. And those are the two big things I see coming up in the near future. Other than that, it'd be our normal. Plus, something unexpected comes up, be our normal operating expenses.
You said look at 2028 for fire gear
Yes.
replacement at roughly 4K.
Right. For 15 guys.
Oh, just for 15? Oh,
Yes.
well, for the town. Yeah.
Right, right.
So how many, you want 3 trucks or 4?
Do what?
You want 3 trucks or 4?
As many as you can buy me. If we're going to go for 3 or 4, we'll shoot for 5 then, and hopefully, no, just the one engine. I know you're always worried that every time you see me, I'm just here to ask for money. Well, relax. I'm not asking for money today. Then we did I know the last time I was here, we did ask 49,000, I think it was, or pretty close to 50 for the buy some additional SCBA packs to go along with the grant that we had received earlier. So we do appreciate that. We did get all that. That's all in service. So all of our breathing air apparatus is new, up to date, and in really good shape. So thank you for that.
and the township paid part of that too, am I correct?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Okay. Is that it?
Anything else from you want right now?
So this 600,000 to 800,000, that's total, that's not just our portion. That's
Yeah, the town is that's the town truck. The town owns their own truck,
Okay, I see.
and then the township owns the truck. Actually, town has, you currently down there, you have 2 engines. We have the 2010 engine, which is our main engine, and the backup is actually a 1991, I think, is your second engine. And then you are, I guess, co-owners or co-maintenance to 2 other vehicles, one being our medical rescue truck, and then another truck we call our tactical, which basically carries all of our extra equipment on it, kind of shared between the town and the township.
Okay. Now, we'd just like for you, your representative, to be here on the 3rd Monday every month and give us an update as you go along. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. Anything else?
One thing we haven't been talking about is mowing your yard down.
Mowing my yard?
Yes, sir.
Your mow away.
Well, people have been.
Yeah, it's a new face every time.
Yeah, I think Sarah's been mowing it last couple of times.
Yeah.
She figured out there's more grass there than she thought. How do you feel about taking over the mowing responsibilities down there, you and your people?
That would be something I guess I could discuss with the guys, see what they think about that. And it's something else I guess I'd really like to do with you guys is invite all of you down there, between town, township trustees, and, kind of give you a run through how does the volunteer fire service work down there, so you have a better understanding of what we do, what drives us to do it, I guess. As a volunteer fireman, it's probably a lot more work than you probably would imagine it would be for something we do for free. It's something you have to really want to do. So like I say, as far as mowing, that'd be something do we want to tackle more? I'm not saying we won't, I'm not saying we will. I'm saying we can talk about that.
Just something to think about.
Okay.
All good?
Good. Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Steve, do you have an extra copy of your report I can put in my file in there?
Still grumpies.
Okay.
Actually, I think I have one here. Actually, if you want it, There's the current for this year, if I can get it off of here.
Police department.
Don't you hate that? Thank you.
Good.
And then if anybody's interested, I have somewhere back here. I have the
Robbie's
last
status.
couple of years, if you want to see
Oh,
what
okay.
had been going on.
Okay.
Well, there's 23s
We don't know.
and there's 24s
Okay. Here's the next one.
for your reading and viewing pleasure.
Okay, I will put those in my folder.
All righty.
Thank you. Here, this is, you gave me
You
two of
don't
the same
have
thing.
anybody from Stormwater Board, do you?
Me,
Okay,
Besides you.
no. There's nothing.
Frank had nothing.
Utility department. Max, that would be
We
you.
got nothing going on, nothing to talk about. I don't know how much of a detailed report you want. I can give it, I can make it a long session or I can make it a short session. The short session is, we got the water situation rectified, taken care of, everybody's water should be good now. Right now, the electricity's all on. I saw where they replaced the, Earl, what they replaced the, little back here. Transformer. So things are going all right there. The big question now is some of the businesses, which I understand, they want to know what their next step is to get reimbursed for some of their expenses. It's my understanding that they need to file with their insurance companies. Their insurance companies, if they're not going to pay, should contact our insurance company. And the insurance companies and the lawyers will figure it out. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know much about insurance, so I don't know how it's going to work. The only thing, I'm going to go through the beginning part of this just for information. Because there's a lot of bad information out there on Facebook. I can tell you there's a lot of things that are not close to the truth. And a lot of people talking that really don't know what they're, I don't mean this in a rude way, they just don't know what they're talking about. And so I'm going to clear up some of this. First of all, when we try to find the water line, this water line was, I'm not sure, 8 or 10 inches. You can't spot plastic with the equipment they use to find the water line. So there's a metal rope, for lack of a better word, that is attached to the top of that water line, and the equipment can spot metal under the ground. So we went out, used the equipment, spotted the wire, marked the wire, we marked the wire, we got the tank line right over the top of the wire. Everything was done correctly. IMPA comes in, they're required to move 2 feet from the locator line. They moved their 2 feet from the locator line, and when they drilled the hole for the pole, they hit the water line. Water was spewing out of there to begin with. By the time I got there, it was calmed down a little bit, but there was a lot of water. So after cleaning the hole out, cleaning the water out, getting down to where we could see what was going on, we discovered that the metal rope somehow had been pulled 2 feet from where the pipe was. It was not on top of the pipe. It was 2 feet away. So the utility company moved 2 feet, drilled their hole, and that's where the water line was. That water line was put in 1996 when we put the new water well in. So if you want to blame somebody, you got to go back to find the company that put those lines in 1996. And I don't know, I can't say for sure that they screwed it up. I don't know how that line, I've looked at it, I've seen it, we've got pictures of it. As I remember it, and I may not remember it exactly right, but it looked like it was taut. It was not like a lot of slack in this line. It looked like something or somebody had to pull that line to get it that far away from the water line. I don't know how it could have happened. I don't have an answer for that. So anyway, that's what caused the whole problem. From that point, this is Thursday, late Thursday. From that point, we found out we had to run 2 tests, and both tests were actually 4 tests. So there's 4 tests one day, and then you have to do 4 tests the next day. So we took the water down on Friday morning. Earl drove them down, and I shouldn't say I thought we would get this back fairly quick, and I was very disappointed, made some phone calls, and I found out they can't test it for 18 hours. Has to set, so the bacteria has a chance to grow. So they can't do it for 18 hours. So we get that test. We're not going to get it on Friday. They're closed on Saturday and Sunday. You don't get anything then. Earl made several phone calls trying to find some company that would run this test on the weekend. There were none. We couldn't do it on the weekend. So Monday we get the first test back and it's good. We run the next test down on Monday. We passed 3 of those, failed 1 of those, had to take it back, got that done. Well, they left a message that said there was a different protocol. Since we had passed 3 and we only had 1 to pass, there was a different protocol and we needed to call IDEM, I believe, to find out what the protocol was. That's the message they left. So we tried to call them a little before 3. They close at 3. Nobody's going to take a phone call because then they'd be there after 3 and they weren't going to work after 3. So we had to wait till the next morning to call to see what the protocol was. Now we're on Thursday, or let's see, we're on, where are we at now? Wednesday, whatever day. So we called to see what the protocol is, and Earl talked to more than one person, I don't know how many, and none of them knew what the protocol was. So it turns out the protocol is, all we had to do was do the test over that we paid. They couldn't leave that message on our message that all we had to do was run that test. They had to wait for a call for the next day. So we get that down there. We finally passed it on Thursday, shortly after noon or shortly before noon, I believe. And from that point, everything was back fairly to normal. Contrary to popular belief, we do not just check our water once or twice a year. We check it regularly. I've lived here for 72 years, and I wouldn't, if we only tested it once or twice a year, I probably wouldn't be here today, which might have been a good thing. I don't know. So anyway, the water's tested regularly. We own all of our utilities. Duke does not own our electric company. IMPA does not own our electric company. We own our electric company. IMPA is contracted to do our maintenance work. They're our electrical maintenance crew, our linemen, our engineers, and they do a lot more for us. Duke had nothing to do with breaking the water main. They weren't involved with that at all. And Duke does not work for Thorntown. They're a totally separate utility. We don't pay them anything. We don't have any dealings with them. But they own the substation out there, and that's where our electricity comes from. So that's the short thing. If anybody's got any questions, I would be more than happy to try to answer.
Is there a known reason why the power outages have happened so often?
2 of the 3 outages that I know about were caused by Duke. I don't know what Duke does. They don't report to us. I don't have any control over what they do. We don't have any control over what they do. And their power, when our power, I can tell you that 99.9% of the time, if the whole town is out of electricity, it's due. I'm not saying it can't be because of us, but usually if the whole town is down, it's us. Now, the latest one we had that was Duke's deal, I think only half the town, or maybe not even half the town, was down, and I really thought that would be us, but it wasn't. That was also Duke. The storm we had came through here. We did go down for a short period of time. That was on us. That happens. It's happened. Like I said, I've been here 72 years. I've been through a lot of them, and I can pretty much promise that we're going to go through some more. And people need to be prepared for when the electricity goes out. We could have a storm come through here, we could be out for 3 weeks someday. I mean, we've been out for hours at a time. I don't know that we've ever been down for a full day. It's inconvenient. It's inconvenient for me. I'll tell you, the worst part of the water deal is I drink a lot of ice water. And I like to go to my fridge and push my glass in there and get my ice water out. And I had to get in the fridge and dig it out of a bag for a week. I didn't like that, but it's not the end of the world. I feel bad. I feel terrible for the businesses. The businesses are taking a beating, and we're going to tell them what they can do as soon as we know what they can do. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be hard to find negligence on the town's part. And I'm no lawyer, but I think you're going to have to prove some negligence on our part before we're going to be able to help anybody. Now, I've told some of the people, some of the businesses that I've talked to, it's not personal. I go to these businesses. My dad was a businessman for over 50 years. I don't pretend to know exactly what they're going through, but I know it's horrible. And my one thing that I thought about when this whole water thing started is we have to get the businesses going as quick as we can, because I know they're throwing away food. I know they're losing money. You tell me what I should have done to take care of that, because I can't tell you how many phone calls I made trying to expedite everything that was going on. Our people were out working. They were trying to do, Earl made runs to Indianapolis to get the water down there as early as we could get. We called and checked to try to expedite what they were doing. So I've got about 5.5 months left, so anybody that doesn't like the way we're doing it now, there's going to be an opening on the board fairly soon. And if I were you, I'd put your name in for it.
He's just kidding you. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that is going to happen.
No, it isn't.
So that's a different story. So anyway, any more questions?
One thing you don't mention, or you didn't mention, was the water was only out 4 hours and people had water again. Now, it was under a boil directive from the Boone County Health Department. However, you had water in 4 hours.
Yeah.
So other than if you were selling food, you had water. And I can guarantee you that I had some of it. He had some people he knows had some of it right away, and nobody died. So there wasn't anything the matter with the water. It's just the protocol of the health department had to be followed by our utilities, and they didn't do anything wrong at all. And that's why it was out a week before restaurants were open.
One of the other rumors on the internet that I saw is the water's probably been polluted for 6 months and nobody knew about it. Well, it's checked. I think it's checked daily. Earl would have to confirm that. But there was nothing wrong with the water before the pipe was hit. And it was a precautionary thing to make sure bacteria did not get in the water because the pressure was low while the break was done. It was purely precautionary. The health department we didn't shut anybody down, the health department shut everybody down. And they did it because they have to by law. That's understandable. But yeah, I had a neighbor that I was trying to get to. He was 90-some years old. I knew he wouldn't be on social media. I got to his house as soon as I could and told him that he wasn't supposed to drink the water, explained the situation, and he said, well, didn't have any water for a couple hours and I got thirsty, so I've already drank a full glass of water. And at that point, I'm thinking, well, we need to test anything for if he's still alive tomorrow, he should be good. And he is. I've seen him a couple times, so.
If that water's been bad for 6 months, there'd be a lot of holes out there in the cemetery right now.
Yeah.
I don't see any out there.
So, yeah, that's be glad to answer any other questions.
Okay.
And Earl, is Earl back there?
Yeah.
Okay, Earl,
Earl, you got any?
add anything?
Eric, you got anything?
Do I?
Yeah.
That may have been a wrong question. I got pretty irritated with a lot of comments on Facebook in regards to knowing how hard everyone was working. And I just, honestly, I think it was insensitive and unprofessional. People making comments about systems they don't know anything about, transmission, distribution, how to get to the house. And you focus on the local people who are the only ones here trying to help. Earl, he takes a phone call, and you're talking to the guy who's fixing it. Then another phone call comes in, then another phone call comes in. And everybody wants to have answers immediately. I'm all for raising rates so you can get your answers immediately, because that's what it's going to take. You're going to need additional infrastructure, folks to manage things and watch it. So, for me, hearing the complaints is kind of a positive thing. In regards, it tells me everyone wants increased rates to have more services. That's what I got from it. So I see how Pat done is. I just think it's awful for people like that. So I just be cautious of what you put on social media. And if you see something in the ask on social media, use it. I mean, they all lost it. They all lost water. They're suffering with you. And you're complaining about the only people that are helping. It just blows my mind. So I'd say a few other choice words, but at this point, there's probably no one in here that complained on the internet. Facebook is actually here. So
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Eric. Earl?
Water's treated according to item regulations. It's tested every morning. Our drinking water is tested for BACT twice a month as per regulations. And sporadically, it's tested for other things depending on what item requires of us. We pass all the tests. So it is the water that we are to provide for people. And it's done every day as far as the treatment goes. So there's no issues there. As far as electricity goes, as the whole state is dependent on the infrastructure that transmits electricity throughout the state, Duke is the biggest provider, but Duke is only one partner in all of it. Input themselves actually creates some electricity, but they throw it all into the grid and they all take a part and they take whatever it comes from, whatever profit is made from it. They all get, it's co-op is what it is. But Duke does in fact own the infrastructure that brings it to our substation. They own the lines that come up about 100 yards south of the fire department. At that point, there's a meter, and from then on, it's input / our property realistically. So the 3 power losses that we've occurred in the past probably 5 to 6 weeks, so realistically about 2 months. 2 of them have been for work being done on a substation. They're upgrading it to meet the demands of this area. As we all want more and more electrical devices and what have you, they've had to upgrade to meet those demands. And part of it also has to do with the addition. They're in contact with Input and says they've got to run these new lines out here for 163 new homes, and they're upgrading to try and meet those needs. And along those same lines, from that point on, Input is now upgrading lines that run just east of the fire station and then down Grant to the addition. So all some of these issues we're talking about, are all about the upgrade to meet the needs of the growth that's in this area. So you've got 2 outages due to work being done at the substation. One on Saturday has to do with the temporary lines that they had up, swinging into each other, arcing and wiping out 2 phases Saturday, which is what we went through for hours. Now, you, meaning INPA, us, whoever, cannot touch another utilities lines. So if the problem is the Duke, you have to wait for Duke to come up here. INPA cannot touch them. The same thing occurs the other way. If Duke happens to be in the area and we have an INPA issue, Duke's gonna look at us and say, well, that's INPA, we can't touch their lines. So we're at the mercy of the rules and how it's all played out. And that's where we stand on that. I would say as we continue to grow and continue to expect higher and higher services provided for us, we're gonna run into some of these issues. Hopefully they're less and less, but it's just the reality as the town grows and we make more demands on the infrastructure and we improve the infrastructure, there's gonna be some errors here and there that are just beyond our control, which didn't happen. It's us in the in-run gets the phone calls, it's us that's out there beating the brush trying to fix it and worrying about it, stressing it. These things are happening, but it is what it is at this point in time. We did everything we can. INPA is a great crew, I'll tell you right now. I don't know anything about Duke, but INPA's a great crew, so I would think that Duke, it's a big name, big company, they get that way by offering bad service. But we're all doing what we can to provide everyone who all suffer when what's going on. Now, one other thing I do have for you, there is an asphalt company that's already come through town and got all the measuring areas. I thought I'd have it by tonight. We're supposed to be getting a bid on taking care of our street repairs we have. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Hopefully next time I'll be able to present something to you about that.
thank you, Earl. Jeff, you got anything? No? Okay. Minutes for June the 26th and June the 30th. Need a motion to.
Oh. Okay. No, I didn't. I thought I typed the wrong dates. Nope, I've got it.
We got 4 dates on here, correct?
Yes, we've got 4 different sets of minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for June 26th, June 30th, July 7th, and July 14th.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody.
All right.
Motion passes.
I have a sticky note on each one for you to sign.
Sticky, you want me to sign
All
the
right,
sticky
the
note?
little sticky. Okay.
Good day, you want me to do it?
I will. All right. While he's doing that, I'm up next, so I'll go ahead and do my little report. I was given a note today. Someone named Jacob Parr said that he submitted an estimate for lawn care at the fire station, and he's checking up on it. I don't know anything about this. I don't know if anybody else does. Do any of you guys know anything about it? Don't have a clue. So I don't know if he put it in the mailbox, but he's also interested in the park, not knowing what's happening for the future. There that is. I left all of you a copy of the figures that I will be presenting to the DLGF on Wednesday. Jeff is going to come that day and sit with me through that, and so is Jared Hall. And they're doing that since I'm leaving in the middle of this budget thing, and then there's 2 other people that know what's going on, and we'll see what happens. So we'll just be up here. Lynn is reviewing the insurance payment that I made to Selective Insurance for the fire department. We had another conversation going on and I made a comment and she says, wait a minute, you paid what? And I told her 22,000 and she says, I think something's wrong. So she needs to go back. So she's going to go back and check on that. She's got some stuff going on right now, but she will go back and check on that. So there's a possibility we might get some money back. That would be awesome. Other than that, I left you all a note. Something that I did not have on the original paperwork that we talked about was CCD. Usually I only have $15,000 on CCD to spend. I went ahead and appropriated $75,000. We currently have in the neighborhood of $150,000 in CCD, with $100,000 that's in the bank here and the $50,000 that is in Trust Indiana. And the reason I decided to go ahead and appropriate $75,000 right off the bat is in case you end up and want to do a restroom up there on the Lions Park, then there's money already appropriated and you don't have to go through the additional appropriation paperwork. So, and then of course, the 3% increases for the police department is on there as well. And because of our situation that we are right here in the present, which is what I have to work with, you'll see that the number 3 police officer is whatever the current salary is plus 3%. It doesn't say 55,000 because we're not to that point. We don't even know that that's going to happen yet. So I have to figure it on what we know now. So I think that's all for me.
Water and electric service agreement for Arbor Homes. What's that?
Okay. This is something that's been going around for several months. I did look at you. This is, I know Max has had it. I know it's been sent to your email before. Dan's been involved. Amy's involved. And this is that water and electric where Arbor agreed that they would pay the water capacity fee for all 163 homes, prepay basically. So they were going to pay us quarterly. And then the extra $200,000 for the electric stuff that's going on. It has been going back and forth between Amy and Arbor for a very long time with language concerns. And there's still a concern in here, but with Dan not being here, because Nathan said that Dan's been handling this himself. Max has mentioned in paragraph 5 of this thing, it says basically that we promise that the water plant, water treatment upgrades will be totally completed by December of 2026. We don't know that at this point because
Don't have a contractor.
Right.
You know,
when it's going to be done.
it hasn't even gone out to the bid process yet. Now, according to our timeline, and Nathan, you correct me if I'm wrong. According to this timeline, this thing was supposed to be signed by tonight. And, well, no, this thing was supposed to already be signed a long time ago. We were supposed to have already received $168,000, which we have not because this contract's not complete. And tomorrow, CDS would have been putting stuff out there, seeking the bids. So we're between a rock and a hard place because we can't really sign it because we can't guarantee that's going to be done, but they can't move on to their next step.
You can't.
Well,
Or
until
you-
they
you
make the
can.
first payment, yeah.
You can move on to your next step, can't you?
We can, yep.
You can still put the bids out, right?
Yep.
So we're good
Sure
there.
can, yeah.
But we still can't get this thing solved because
I think the date's off. December of 26 should have been May of 27. There was a 6-month gap there. So in the contract, I believe that December 2026 should have been May 2027.
That's kind of my concern. Part of my concern is we don't have a contractor yet. And my understanding, there was a meeting where Dan made some comment about a lot of these companies that do this type of work don't want to do one as small as ours. So we're limited in the number of people that are going to bid on this.
Right.
And how do we know that they're even going to tell us they can get done, let alone whether they're going to get done? And then Jeff just mentioned, which is kind of been in the back of my head, if we don't get done, what's the penalty?
Right. I'm not sure that's outlined in the agreement.
It's not.
There's nothing in that agreement that talks about what they expect if we don't meet the contract.
So if we're just promising
Right.
that and we don't
Well-
make it, then we'll make it as soon as we can, and I can sign it. I mean, I don't even know if I'm supposed to sign it, but I wouldn't sign it.
What would happen if we don't get done is, I damn won't allow them to, or whoever controls that won't allow them to continue to build.
Right.
Correct.
So that's a
So are
penalty.
they, yeah, but we're signing a contract with them that says we're gonna have it done.
I understand
So they
that, but
gonna
what
sue us?
you just said, what's the penalty? The penalty is on Arbor. Arbor won't be able to continue to build until that plant's done.
I don't care about their penalty. What's our penalty? What are they gonna do to us?
yeah, they'll be losing money at that point. Arbor will, if they're held up because we're not ready.
I agree.
So so according to the timeline Dan gave us, like Nathan said, we figured out this had typos and it really says final completion May of 2027. But here again, until we have a contractor, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't care what the date. I don't care if the date's in 3036. If we don't have a contractor that tells us he can get done by then. I mean, like I said, I don't even know if I have to sign that. But if I did, I would not.
Well, it looks to me like
Amy
the
brought that up.
ball's in CDS's court to
I don't
find out
recall
if we
anything
got
other than
somebody
Max
that can
bringing
build
that
it.
up in any of the conversations back and forth.
And if it's supposed to be May of 27, then it needs to say May of 27.
So with Amy being ill today, she didn't respond to anything that I sent out. And I know Max replied to her about this December 26th date issue. So I don't think we can do anything about this thing until she reviews it again.
Well, we need to make sure the date is correct on the finish date, and then we need to, it looks to me like it's in your court, Nathan, to find out if you can get somebody that's gonna build the plant and then give us a date that they can have it finished by before we can sign anything.
What's do you have any idea what the timeline is on when we might know who wins the bid, and we have a date from them as to when they can get it done?
I was going to say, typically that's a 3 or 4 month process of back and forths between the engineer and the
So
contractor.
we're not looking at 3 or 4 weeks.
No, it's a longer time frame than that. Yes.
That's what I figured.
Yes.
Is that typically a 30-day window for bids to be returned, or?
The 30-day window simply selects the contractor.
Right.
Then that contractor gets notified of their selection, and then they begin the process of outlining the construction schedule based on the design.
Right.
So it's a more lengthy process.
Is CDS ready to send those bids out?
No.
No.
We just got the contract signed to
Right.
begin the design at this point in time, so. we would have to complete that in tandem with the selection of the contractor.
So I'm not sure what the delay in that contract is causing, other than they're not gonna pay us the money that they're supposed to pay us, which I don't think it's a big deal, because we don't need the money until we start working on this. So, I mean, that's an Amy question, but.
Well, it looks to
I
me
don't know
like
if it's
we're
a
several,
I don't
we're
know if
several
it's a
months
huge
out.
deal. Huh?
We're several months out based on what we're saying here before we even know
Yeah.
Right.
whether we got something we can sign or not. But everything that takes them longer to come up with the bids, it just keeps backing the finish date off that many months.
There's nothing in there. There's no penalties against anybody in that contract. Should nobody deliver? It's really a memorandum of understanding, not really a contractual agreement.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a thing that says we're gonna do all we can do to get it done by December 2027.
Yeah, Boy Scouts
Sure.
honor, right?
We are trying to do that, or May, or whatever the date is, and there's no penalty if we don't make it, then why?
Yeah, Amy sent it out for feedback. I sent a little bit back. I realize now that mine does not reply all, because obviously you didn't see it.
Yeah.
But Max is 100% correct. I mean, cleaning up the language, you'd be ready to go.
Well, I'd say that the penalty for Thorntown, if it didn't get done, is they can't build their houses, so we don't get any more money from the people that are applying for house, we don't get any money. So there is a penalty because the town doesn't get any money until they can build houses.
It's in the town's best interest to get this done.
Yes.
In the timeline. But,
Right.
That just kind of comes down to whether it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we get 3 bids and they all say they can't get 10 to June of 26, then it'll be June of 26.
I would suggest whatever date gets put in this agreement on the town's end is subject to contractors' equipment availability or something along those lines.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, plus then you got weather to deal with on top of that.
Yep.
So,
Give the town a little bit of an out in that agreement.
yeah.
We can have a discussion with Amy. I don't know how ill she is, but some date this week, I imagine we can get her on the phone and have this discussion. Perhaps with Mr. Wolf over here.
We can't afford for her to be ill.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
So perhaps that gets tabled.
Yeah. Anybody out there got anything they want for new business, for unfinished business? Anybody got anything? Council, you got anything you want to talk about? Okay, we will have a special meeting next Monday. It's, you want 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock next Monday.
It's July 28th, correct?
Yeah. Okay, what we got to? What we got to sign?
Just claims.
Okay. So that's it, folks.
I will have a YouTube channel thing.
We can't close till we sign these papers up there.
I had this one.
Thanks all of you for coming, appreciate it.
Claims.
This one page signed.
No, we've got.
And you've got your payroll dockets too.
Menards.
I used to work with Dan.
You have the Menards under general repair, maintenance, and building. Trash bags, tape, drinks for kids program.
Oh, I don't have it under park maintenance?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I need to fix that because that's park maintenance, those trash bags and that stuff is park maintenance. They're right next to each other.
I know.
Yeah,
I was looking around.
But that's the only thing.
Yes. Yeah, let me give you a sticky note, put on there.
You put back, you get the energy back. I guarantee I know.
Big Max.
Max.
I got you. Thanks for coming.
Max,
Max.
Max. Hey, you white-haired little fart. You hard hearing.
I am hard of hearing, you know that. I'm deaf in one ear.
Hold on a second.
Can't hear
I got something.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
I want
it's- Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I want for something that's not bad. I haven't had that. I did have a lady from Lebanon send me a cupcake. And a nice little note about, enjoy your cupcake, because I'm sending you this for all the hell you've been taking from Thorntown.
That's fine.
It was nice.
What about being a head honcho? I didn't get, you don't even share your cupcake.
There's a carrot cake over to utilities. If they haven't ate it all, you can go and have a piece of it.
Yeah, I bet that's good. Isn't it?
It is good. My wife made it.
She did? You didn't bring me a piece?
She makes one of the best carrot cakes in the world. She kind of messed up the ice and she whipped it a little too
But
much.
they were about to serve. Allie, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. This should have given you more chance to see how many questions we have.
Yeah, it was good to see.
I only did put that on Indeed for 3 days because, for the free trial period, because they said that the average cost of advertising a job on that was $39 a day.
What are we talking about?
The job for the building inspector.
Oh,
And I mean, the job opening is a month long. I'm not trying
Okay.
to spend $39 a day for 30 days. So I was like, I'll just get a free trial for 3 days. And now ZipRecruiter has a free trial for 4 days. I probably show it on there too. So we had
do you buy a subscription to that? Because we use it. Maybe we got a subscription to it.
for Indeed.
Huh?
For Indeed.
I think we use Indeed.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got on there and just followed the prompts to post a job application, and they were like,
We can get together.
average cost is $39 a day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
We sure didn't spend that much.
Well, I think though, also, I think it may depend on how many times it gets clicked. Like they put that on there, and you pay each time it gets clicked.
That might be.
And they
Then
said that
there's a maximum of.
you can set a budget too. You
Oh,
can set a budget of $300 or $500, but I just, that whole $39 a day caught me. I'm like, yeah. Without talking to everybody else, I was like, I'm not gonna.
we need to check. Did you say anything to Corinne? Because I thought she posted jobs before.
She hasn't.
She
She
hasn't.
hasn't posted.
That's the nicest thing you've heard all day,
Let
right?
me check with Sandy
Yeah.
to see what she's done, because we posted for the two guys that were helping girl. We posted for both them, and we surely, I hope we didn't spend time.
Well, like I said, you can set a budget limit. And you have to go over that, but that whole, without talking to everybody else, I wasn't gonna just say yes, $39 a day.
Let me check with her and see what she says she did. Maybe she didn't do Indeed, but I know we had people apply from California, Georgia.
Well, I did
I
too.
think some people have it set up where if their kind of job comes up, it automatically applies.
They had 8 people applied in 3 days for sending a resume. 3 of them were from out of state building inspectors.
Oh, we do have some people.
Yeah, I gave her to Jeff. He's gonna weed through it. 3 of them were from out of state, so.
Be a long
But I
commute.
did have some people from Crawfordsville, Lafayette, Indianapolis Center Rescue.
What we advertise on to get that?
Indeed. That's what I was telling him. I put it on Indeed.
They
But I
want
just,
$39 a day?
yeah, so I just did the free trial, which was 3 days. So in 3 days, we got eight people sent resumes.
That might be what she did. Maybe she did a free trial.
Yeah.
We got like
Well,
16.
we could go together as a board and authorize $300, which would be 10 days.
Right,
Or
but I-
$390, whatever it is.
I'm not sure that we need to do that. I was just telling him, ZipRecruiter has a 4-day free trial, so I thought I'd just throw it on there for 4 days.
Yeah,
And see what,
Probably everybody does.
yeah.
Yeah, but that means it's free, that's everything.
Well, I told him,
And they sent
Sandy put one out. I thought she used Indeed, but she might not have. I'm gonna see what she did. And like I said, she might have done the same thing you did. She might have used the free trial and called it a day. Or she might have put it on something else. I don't know, but I thought she was doing Indeed.
You're looking at the two guys that
Before I close the meeting, we had a very successful interview, okay? And I think Bruce agreed with me, we'd like to have her take over. She has agreed, I don't agree with it, she's agreed with what we've already got in here that says we can pay people $17 an hour.
We get to have an advocate.
$17.50 an hour for part-time
For
help.
part-time help, I think she ought to be getting somewhere close to $30. That's just me. That's quite a bit, but she's taking on a hell of a job. And I don't agree
Well,
with
and
that.
we're only talking about the month of August. Actually, 2 days a week. She's available Monday and Tuesday each week during August to come in and sit with Karina and learn. So you're talking about 8 days at $17.50 an hour. Or our other choice is to contract with her because she does have liability insurance through her own business. We could contract with her for those 8 days at a higher rate if we want to. But that would involve Amy having to draw up a contract.
She has agreed to accept $17.50, but I don't think that's right. That's awful damn low for the responsibility she's gonna take on and learn. She has to learn
What is
the whole.
Corinne?
Between us and utilities, 47.
Okay, so not my, I don't have anything to do with this, you know, you guys deal, but you're talking about $30 an hour, which I realize you're only talking part-time, but you're paying her more than you're paying Corinne at that point. Per hour.
Sounds a little more impressive than it really is.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't care what you do, I'm just saying,
She's going to accept this for 8 days.
right, and I get that,
Right. And like I said, it's for 8 days.
And the other thing is you're paying her more part-time than you're gonna pay her when she's full-time.
No, not really.
I mean, I get what you're saying, it's X amount of dollars for a month, and maybe that's fine, I don't know,
I just thought that was pretty damn cheap for somebody that's gonna accept responsibility.
I agree.
That she's accepting, and which is worth a hell of a lot more than $17.50 an hour.
I don't have a problem with the $30 an hour, I have no problem with that at all, I'm just pointing out that.
Well, I'm just throwing it out. If we don't wanna do it, that's fine too.
I understand what you're saying, but from a simplicity standpoint, I agree with Bruce, we can just leave it lay.
Okay.
Make it up to her down the road somehow, some way, whatever.
I mean, she is gonna be learning, she's not really gonna be, she's not gonna be doing anything for you, she's gonna be in there watching, learning. I get your point, I mean, it's a valid point. I don't know, you pay your, you don't.
I definitely get what you're saying, but I think it's gonna get really a lot more confusing. The thing you want to do is when you hire her, then you want to pay her what.
That's only about
Or I'm gonna
four.
petition for a raise.
That's only about four this month.
You're gonna petition. You know how much money I made last week?
What's the closing?
3 cents an hour.
I make a motion.
Maybe.
Close the meeting at 8:34.
I make the motion to close the meeting at 8:34.
All in favor?
Oh, yeah.
We had a double motion. That's called a double motion.
It's only 10 till 6.
I've seen that.
We're using
Oh, and